Hey, welcome to the Common Good Podcast, everybody. Hey, Rob, back the blue, baby.
I'm Doug. I don't know if you remember this. I think we were in somewhere Wisconsin,
Okay.
and there was a store in which you purchased a shirt or a jacket.
Dale's in La Crosse, Wisconsin. I've become a
Yes,
big fan
Dale's
of the
in La
place.
Crosse, Wisconsin.
Today's
Uh,
podcast brought to you by the joy that comes from Dale's
yeah,
menswear in La Crosse, Wisconsin.
yeah. I purchased a pair of donkey socks at
Okay.
Dale's,
Okay.
and I'm wearing them today in
Excellent.
celebration of Big Day. Wow. Comments are just out of the gate.
Did you?
Just out of
Yeah.
the gate.
Yeah. Hey,
Wow.
hey,
Hey,
glad to.
Democrats hate America with your comment, Democrats hate America. Wow. I mean, we haven't even gotten through the happy talk yet, and you're
No,
just
it's
coming
just
strong.
full time. Well, you know what? Look. When you get overwhelmed by
Mm,
a blue wave Trump response, you are up early, you are nervous, you are sad. And you know how I know this, Rob?
mm,
Because 1 year ago today, by some measures
mhm.
of the calendar, I started feeling that way, and it felt that way for a year.
Yeah.
I get it. Look, if you're a Trump MAGA supporter and you believe that defying the Constitution, setting it aside, cruelty, you believe that extrajudicial murders is the American way, this is not a good day for you. If you believe that punishing the American people with taxes, this is not a good day for you.
Yeah.
If you believe that supporting the godless Republican Party is your way, this is not a good day for you. So we get it. And you know what? It's not going to be a good day for the next year. And then after that, it's not going to be a good day. It's going to be a long road. We feel your pain. Name Democrats hate America. We feel it because we felt. I mean, look, Rob, how
We've been there.
sad were we a year ago?
Oh,
I mean, I'm still sad. I'm
yeah.
still sad about it. To be
Seriously.
honest, I'm still heartbroken about this. But hey,
Yeah.
yesterday was at the ballot box. Good day. But let's happy talk for a little while. It's gonna be
Yeah.
a lovely day
Doug,
in Minneapolis.
yeah, and weather's beautiful here in Arkansas, but listen, I have something else I need to talk about. Um, a pair of possums have taken up residence in my home.
Oh, hey.
I don't quite know what to do about it.
Well, listen,
So
long time listeners to this podcast, Rob, know that sometimes you and um, Mrs. Ryerse
mhm.
have taken stray animals and made them part of the family. So word is out.
Listen, we're not talking about Ari.
Word is out. No, you have these
Yeah,
cats
yeah,
that you're always like, oh, I don't know.
yeah,
We
w
just
yeah,
now we plan our
yeah, now we're
vacation
cat people,
around
yeah.
them.
Well,
Yeah.
we have we ha we got our back porch redone a few years back, and
Okay.
Um, it was a mad dash because at the same time we were having the roof done and the back porch had to be done so the roof could be done and the
Sure.
solar panels were being installed. It was like this whole big thing, and like the guys working on the back porch while the roofers are like
Sure.
roofing the front of the house. It was like this whole mad dash. So often when that happens, there's like things that need to be done that just don't
Ah,
get done. They
sure.
get left off. And then, they just drop precipitously on the priority list. And like closing off our soffits, one of those things that
Mm-hmm.
just so there's access to our home for, a small person, um, or a raccoon or two possums to go into the soffit and just live with us. And we had a raccoon. I think Doug, I've sent you pictures and video of the raccoon
Yes.
times.
Yes.
If you
Which
even check that in the group text,
I have seen
um,
them as if the raccoon's just sitting around in your patio with you, smoking a cigar, just hanging out, just
totally.
checking in on the day with you.
So a few weeks ago, we haven't seen the raccoon in quite some time.
Mhm.
Really, last time we saw him was the 4th of July. I think the fireworks just is like,
Oh,
"Oh, no, I'm out of here." Uh, last couple of weeks, we've had a possum, showing up and, coming out of the same hole in our house. Now,
okay.
listen, miss me with the "Why didn't you repair it after the raccoon?" question, because
The answer is self-evident. We're not going down that road.
yeah.
We're not going down
So
that
the other day, I'm sitting on the back porch, and the possum comes out, and I'm watching him, and Doug, a second possum emerges.
impossibility. Hmm.
Unbelievable.
There will be more possums because one might be a male possum and one's a female possum.
And when a daddy possum loves a mommy possum
Uh,
very much. So
Rob and
Vanessa,
Vanessa get a baby possum.
yeah, so, my in the family chat, the kids are like, "Oh, they're so adorable,"
Oh,
and I'm like,
oh.
"There's there are rodents." I know possums aren't rodents, but they feel like rodents. There are rodents living in my house. So
Hmm.
I have set up. I Vanessa went to an estate sale and bought a couple of old traps. So I've set up a trap in hopes of catching the possum. Set it up last night. No possum in the trap today. Though according to the internet and AI, you know what possums are attracted to?
Middle-aged men.
Well, in that case, we're gonna have like a whole possum resort here. No,
Okay.
possums apparently attracted to the smell of cinnamon.
Hmm. Oh, that
Yeah.
explains it. Fall
Yeah.
came, you guys
Yeah.
started making
Yeah.
your
But
apple cider and your
yeah,
apples,
that's right. Vanessa's
cooked
like, "What is
apples.
this, like pumpkin spice happening out here? Like it's pumpkin spice season." Yeah. So I said to Vanessa, I'm like, how is it? Like, how do these animals find this spot? Like the raccoon was there, and now these two possums find this exact spot. How did they find the exact spot? And Vanessa said, "Well, the raccoon told them," which which made me laugh.
Yes, they spread the word. It's like, "Hey, I just
Yeah.
ditched a place,
That's right.
but it's
The reviews on
over at the Cinnamon
animal
House.
Airbnb are just, yeah, 5
Raccoons
star.
don't care for cinnamon, and it was getting to be a little much for your raccoon friend."
That's right.
Um, okay, why are you gonna trap them rather than just scare them out and seal it up? Like, what are you doing?
Well, see, they're nocturnal animals, and so anytime I see them, it's sometime after, like, 10 p.m.
Okay.
So I
Have you
don't wanna seal it up unless I know that they are out, and so this would be a nighttime activity,
I
is
am
basically what it.
highly confident that the area, well, that Arkansas is replete with exterminator and animal relocators and
Pet Solutions?
pet solutions, animal solution, invader solution companies. You know what they'll often do? Hey, and this is just a great trick, by the way. I bought one of these on Jeff Bezos's website. There's a little motion detector device that can be
Mm.
battery operated or plugged in. That when it goes off, it puts out a high pitched tick 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 and screech,
Oh.
and it makes animals crazy. And it causes them
Oh.
to flee. So if you get squirrels in your garage, like your garage door's open and then squirrels are coming in and out and all that stuff, you put one of those babies and they're nowhere to be found. My
Alright,
guess
maybe.
is you could pop one of those up in there. That's going to
Yep,
flush them out.
and they're not coming back.
I,
Alright.
I don't
Okay.
know.
No.
Or
Or I could,
build the
go with my
economy.
old I could go with my old school trap with which has apples covered in cinnamon, at the
But
back of
then
it,
what are
and
you going to do? Now
I'm gonna
you've
I'm gonna put
now
them in the back of my new car and drive them somewhere and let them go.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
I'm gonna go to the first house that I see with a Trump flag, and the possums are gonna have a
There
new home.
wow, we've just come up with a plan. You just simply knock on the door and say, "Hello,
Actually,
neighbor. Hello,
I
friend."
know the closest one. I know the
Well,
closest one.
well, with all the signs and
Yeah.
all the
Oh,
"Let's Go
man.
Brandon" signs that they haven't taken
Yeah,
down
that's
yet,
right.
and you're just going to release the possum on them. Well,
That's
I'm
right.
sure. Okay, in the comments, let us know where you think what you think Rob and Vanessa ought to do with their possum problem. Um, should they trap it, or just and relocate it, or just scare it away, or just
Live with them. Welcome
seal it?
them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Seal it up.
we could just take the attitude of, I welcome my new possum overlords.
Yeah,
Which
completely could.
Now watch this transition. Doug, there's a lot of Republicans who are gonna have to welcome their new Democratic overlords. Do you like that?
All right, snowflakes, get ready. Here we go. Get ready for what real Americans do when they're in political power. Real America. All right, so people are worried that what happened last night isn't going to be sufficient. We see that in the chat already. Carol with a great comment here that says it's great. The blue look, and this was a mini wave. This was this was an ankle wave. This was not a hurricane level waves that came in. It was just a little bit. But first signs of the storm that's a brewing in the political spheres, in my view. So Carol says, okay, it's great, but I fear we're just burying the hate and it's all still there. Yes, I think you're right, Carol. We're not burying it. We're just removing some of it from political power. And look, America has always been struggling with its hate that's in this country. Hate for one another, hate for the rule of law, hate for the environment. Yeah, that's been a part of America, and we've tried to give it less power. I'm sort of having the imagery of gut biome, feeding it less sugar so it grows less aggressive, so that a sort of yeast infection in someone's body grows less. But it's going to be around. We're never going to have a hate-free world. Hate, anger, bigotry, separation, dominance.
Yeah.
These are around. But what we can do is structure and act in a way that's not given the presidency.
Yes. Yes. We don't want the people who have that that hatred, that bigotry, that all of it. Um, the opportunity to set law and policy,
Yes.
to enact that it is horrific and terrible when it is expressed in a personal way,
Right.
and it is horrific and terrible when it is expressed in a political or a policy way that becomes
Wow.
law. And and listen, we can't stop someone from their personal hatred, their personal prejudice or bigotry. What we can do is stop those people from having the power to enact those things in law
Yes.
that impact everybody.
Look, you have the right in America to hate people.
Hmm.
You have the right in America to think lies and spread rumors and hateful rhetoric about lots of people. It's an American right. You don't get to act on it in certain ways.
Yep.
I wish you didn't get to put it into law, which is being done by Republicans. But when you've let a party become a godless party of self-dealing and self-fulfilling, grotesque levels of meanness, to be sure that those who struggle with the way our economy is set up don't receive SNAP benefits and then brag about your gold toilet, literally bragging about your overpriced toilet. You get to do that. And I will say, as a person of faith, minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ, you're even a beloved child of God, but you shouldn't have political power to put those beliefs and actions and behaviors on top of the American people. But a year ago to yesterday, the American people did elect that person to power, not just at the presidency, but across a lot of seats. And so now we're cleaning up the mess. The
Yep.
raccoons and the possums got into the soffits, and now we're cleaning them out, and we're deciding
Waited a
before
year.
we seal it up. Waited, yeah.
Waited a year, and then and
Because,
so
but here's why, Rob. To your point, let's keep the possum metaphor going. You said, hey, they're nocturnal animals, which means there's certain times in a 24-hour period when one can suspect that the animal could leave the soffit. There are certain times when the American people can make a change in our political structure and our political representatives. Election day. Those are the unique days where you get to do a very important thing. That's why yesterday mattered, and that's why 365 days from now matters. That's why people who say to us, and we hear it all the time, I got it from someone's email yesterday, they were like, your emails are always asking us for money, but what can I do right now? And I was like, well, you can prepare for a year from now, because you can't unravel the political system 364 days of the year. One day of the year, you get to do that. And that day just happened, and now that day is a-coming. So you can work, and you can prep, and you can start encouraging people to participate and to change their minds. And then there's a day you act. And not all of life is that way, right? In some of life, every day is the first day of the rest of your life. But in politics, election day is the first day of the next year or 2 years or 3 years, 4 years, 6 years of our political life.
Yes. People all over the country were feeling the strong desire to be engaged yesterday. They looked at what was happening in New York and Virginia and New Jersey, California, Pennsylvania, Mississippi, and they're like, well, why can't we do that? Doug, did you see the tweet from the Kentucky Secretary of State, Michael Adams?
No.
Yesterday at 9:42 a.m., Michael Adams, the Secretary of State of this, is it the state of Kentucky or the Commonwealth of Kentucky? It's probably Commonwealth. It's probably state. I don't know.
I feel like Virginia's the Commonwealth, for sure.
Pennsylvania is the Commonwealth.
Oh.
Kentucky's the state. Yeah. Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Yep. Michael Adams, Kentucky Secretary of State, on the official Kentucky Secretary of State Twitter account, X account, tweeted this: we're getting calls about polls being closed. They are closed because we do not have elections today. Kentucky votes next year. You cannot vote today in Kentucky for the mayor of New York City or the governor of Virginia. Sorry.
Okay. He had to get snarky at the end, huh?
Oh, that is could be tweet of the year level amazing. That's fantastic.
Well, yeah, but he didn't have to become insulting. Because here's the thing, Mr. Secretary.
Oh, don't rip on him. That's so funny.
I'm going to rip on him because here's why. Not everybody keeps track of elections, sir. We don't actually know, because people don't keep up on why there's an election this year on the first Tuesday of the month, but why there was an election 6 weeks ago in a special election, or why there was a primary election at another time. Elections happen in this random set. And for him to sort of, tweet splain, I don't want to place a gender on him, but perhaps mansplain to people why Kentucky doesn't have an election, but all these other places do. I mean, how do people know that there wasn't a school board race? How do they know there wasn't a need because, let's say, a lawmaker like in the great state of Minnesota passed away over the summer, so they had to have an election for a state representative or
You
a person.
Mayor yesterday, right?
Not in my city, but in the city across the street.
Yeah.
where I live, my wife Shelley said, "Yeah, I was looking up last night. Where do I vote today for whatever the votes were going to be in the city of Edina, where I live? There were none.
Yeah.
But in the city of Hopkins, 4 miles away, 3 miles away, there was, and the one 2 blocks away, there was. So, is it possible that nowhere in Kentucky there were any
Oh, wow.
elections?
Doug,
Because what this
we
guy's
won
doing,
yesterday. Just lighten up a little bit. This
no,
just
what this guy is doing is basically saying, hey, Democrats, you're so stupid. You don't know about
this guy
voting
is a Democrat.
for the mayor of New York. They know they're not voting for someone in New York. Don't you think?
I don't know. It was a funny tweet. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
All
okay,
right.
but it's
So
but it's but it's
major
all right.
elections
But
yesterday. I am
you know
moving
how
on it.
I you
Sorry I
know how
brought
your
it up.
friend Doug gets about this.
I know.
When people inside the voting structure system lecture everybody else
Yeah.
about why they didn't vote or why they don't know and act like you're keeping up on it, when honest to the love of life, when an election is happening is all over the place, depending on primaries, special elections, off-year elections,
Yep.
and main term.
Yep.
I wish he'd said, "Thank you for asking. I hope you wish you could vote every day. Thanks for
It would
caring."
be a funny
Rather
tweet.
than, "Don't be such a putz."
Sorry, it just made me laugh.
Yeah,
Doug,
made him
so
laugh too.
major election.
I might start a Twitter account. Hey, or maybe I could buy, a Democrat Hates America Twitter account. I'm
I'm
sure he's
sure
got
that
one.
one's taken, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, uh, Major elections yesterday. New York City elected a new mayor. Virginia elected a new governor. New Jersey elected a new governor. California voted on a ballot initiative. Um, there were three Supreme Court justices in Pennsylvania that were up for reelection. Um, State races in places like Mississippi. Um, Houston had a special election to replace the seat formerly held by Sheila Jackson Lee. You might remember we interviewed Amanda Edwards on this podcast, and Amanda and made the runoff.
Great.
No candidate. There were like 18 candidates on the ballot, and no candidate got 50%. But Amanda finished second and is therefore in the runoff,
So
which
there
is
will be yet
fantastic.
another election for that
Yeah,
seat.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Point made. Uh, and Doug, all across the board, almost, I mean, without exception, Democrats won big yesterday.
Yep.
Democrats won big in New York.
I didn't keep up on the Pennsylvania Supreme Court
Yeah.
vote.
So
How did that go?
Yeah. So some states elect
Mhm.
their judicial branch, which is crazy when you stop and think about it. Some states that's nonpartisan. Some states it's partisan. I think in Pennsylvania it's partisan. There was a 5-2 majority that Democrats had on the state Supreme Court. Three of those justices were up for reelection, all Democrats, and they all won. And it was significant because of election law and
Yes.
all of the stuff that ends up in being lawfare, as my Republican friends would say, in their projections. So across the board, I mean,
Yes.
Mississippi had special elections in several state Senate and state House races because they had their districts had to be redrawn. Democrats won enough of those races. I think there were five. I think they won two or three, they won enough to break the supermajority in the Mississippi state legislature. Now, I for those of you that don't live in red states, for those of you that don't live in red states that have Republican supermajorities, let me tell you about how awful it is. In a state with a Republican supermajority, and I live in one, supermajority means that the Republicans have enough members of the state Senate, the state House to pass whatever they want anytime without any Democratic inclusion in the process.
And they can even
Um,
override a governor if they needed to, right? They would have
yes,
that sort of
yes.
veto.
Most of the states that have Republican supermajorities also
Yes.
have Republican
Republican
governors.
governor. Yes.
But for instance, in several states, like here in Arkansas, and it's the same in Mississippi, that many of the budget bills and
Mm-hmm.
appropriations bills require 60 votes rather than a simple majority, or they require 75 votes. And the idea is listen, when we're passing these really important things, we ought to drive towards compromise. But when you have a supermajority, you have enough votes that you don't need to compromise. You can pass those budget and appropriations bills without any input from Democrats at all. And what it leads to is just rank extremism getting legislated by state houses. And so Mississippi yesterday broke the supermajority.
Ah,
Republicans continue to have a huge majority in their state legislature. But now they at least have to bring Democrats to the table to say, if we want to pass our budget, our appropriations bills, we've got to talk about something that, like, at least one or two of you would be willing to vote for. So, I mean, significant. These are significant things. And, so all across the country, like, I can't find
mm-hmm.
a single instance where I look at and go, "Oh, that was a Republican win."
Hmm.
There, there wasn't. I mean, former
Well, you're
candidate
not
for
you're not saying there weren't times that a Republican won an election. You're
yes,
saying it
yeah,
didn't move something in a way that meant that there was sort of
yes,
a
yes,
yes.
yes. I mean, and whether it's the mayor of New York City or the mayor of Cincinnati, where J.D. Vance's half brother was trounced in an election. Did you know that he was running for mayor of Cincinnati?
I did not know.
J.D. Vance's half brother running for mayor of Cincinnati, utterly destroyed in the election. Um,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
all across the board, Democrats won big. Now, what I have heard in friends online, commentary, reading various things, what I have heard is the response from folks have been, well, these are blue states.
Yeah.
These elections, like, New York City, that's blue. New Jersey, that's blue. Virginia, that's
California.
blue. California, that's blue. Um, okay, you could feel free to dismiss, these states as blue states if you want to. And maybe, the outcomes are not unexpected. What was unexpected, Doug, was the way in which the Democratic candidates won. And
Hmm.
I don't, do you have the graphics that I sent you?
Oh,
Uh,
baby.
yeah.
Taking
In the
care of
state of
business for you.
Virginia, in the state of Virginia, just about every single county, it wasn't every single county, but almost every county had movement towards the Democratic candidate for governor, that the vote totals, even in counties where the Republican candidate for governor won, the Democratic candidate for governor picked up votes over how Vice President Harris did in the last election. The trend was towards blue all across the state. Now, and listen, Republicans are fond of putting up the map that shows
Yes.
that red states and blue states don't matter, that what matters is, the land and counties. We're not talking here is we're talking about the counties. We're not talking about the land.
Yes. Talking about
We're
the
talking about
people.
actual votes cast. Um, all across Virginia, the movement was away from the Republican candidate and
Yep.
towards the Democratic candidate. In New Jersey, another quote unquote blue state, a state that Donald Trump thought he could have a chance of winning in the last election,
Yep.
because of the trend had been towards red in New Jersey. In every single place. I mean, just about every county, not exclusively every county, but just about every county, all across the state, the trend was towards blue. That the Democratic candidate for governor got more votes than a higher percentage of the vote in those counties than Vice President Harris did in the last election. All of this to say, like, this was not just
Mm-hmm.
Democrats winning where they should win.
Mm-hmm.
This was Democratic candidates moving the needle away from Republicans towards Democrats across their states.
Yeah, and in
What?
some of these states, flipping from a Republican aligned governor to a Democrat for governor. Like,
Yeah.
you might say it's a what makes something a blue state or a red state is not a spectrograph.
Yeah.
It is a determination of our statewide officials a part of the Republican Party or the Democratic Party overall. So you'll say it's a
No,
blue state if you have a
no,
blue
no, no,
governor
no,
and a
no. Yeah,
blue
red. Yeah,
and a
no, 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 no. Red state and blue state is determined by how they voted in the last presidential election.
yeah, but on the functional level, someone will
Yeah.
say, look, you could have a blue state like
Like,
Michigan,
or you say
that
Pennsylvania,
has that has a blue a Democrat for a governor and a
or
house, and then
or
it starts to move, and then they start to go so now we've got a purple state which had voted statewide for Democrats and nationally for the president. So all of this red state blue state stuff is real. It's two things. One, it's rather imprecise and it's branding. And secondly, it's always in the past. It's what happened. It's not just what's going to happen. And sometimes past is prologue. But a place like Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Virginia, those are places that are competing at the statewide level to see how that matches the national level of red or blue. Because what doesn't work is to say, well, 4 years ago, this state voted for the Republican candidate for president, so therefore the state is now red. Because by the time you get to the next election, you could have the whole state system be dominated by a Democratic president, a Democratic governor, and Democratic legislators and Democratic snarky secretaries of state.
Yeah.
So it's I bring that up because it's not helpful, frankly. I mean, I'm not doing my Barack Obama imitation again. We don't have red America, blue America. We have the United States of America. But we get a little fixated when we say, well, the state voted for Donald Trump, so I don't want to go to that state. You can say that about Mississippi. But as we mentioned and now have up on the screen, 2 seats flipped to Democrats in Mississippi. Because even in states where it's like 70% of the people would identify with the Republicans, there might only be 50% of the people in the state who identify with Republicans. They just over-index in voting. Or some parts of a state might not represent how the statewide vote goes overall in selecting a president. So it's really not helpful. Like when people, I hear this all the time. Like people say, like, I'm not even going to Florida because it's such a red state. Like there are whole places in Florida that are
Right.
more
Yeah.
Democrat, or they'll say, I love California because it's a blue state. And I'm like, shall we go to Southern California? Shall we go
Yeah.
to Fresno, the home of
Yeah.
the Proud Boys? Like
Bakersfield. Yeah.
Bakersfield, it is not
Yeah.
a helpful
Yeah.
categorization to
Yeah.
basically to identify a state.
Yes.
And this is why we will never have a civil war the way we did in the past, right? I mean, this is for all the stuff where people are like states are going to move against states, because it just doesn't. The lived experience for people in any state is that the a third of the people who could vote
Yes.
don't vote, or more, a third or more. So the opinion of the citizenry is not represented in the vote.
Right.
Overall, like we just have to say we're talking about voters and those who can and choose to vote. But the overall population of any state does not always correspond to the voting behaviors of the voters in any election in those states.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I want to push back on this narrative. Oh, well, these are just blue states.
That's it.
No, these are in each of these states, there was significant movement towards
Mm-hmm.
Democratic candidates. And Yabbitt's just mentioned, that there were two state offices in Georgia that were flipped by Democrats yesterday. Um, there were two. I think it's like the electric council, like the utility council or something in Georgia, or like the 5 seats that are elected statewide. Doug, what's the weirdest thing that you all elect there in Minnesota, statewide? Do you have like a state office that's weird?
I was trying to think of that. Like, do we have? No,
Yeah,
I don't know.
we elect here in
County commissioner.
Arkansas.
Yeah.
We elect a land commissioner, and ironically, our land commissioner's name is Tommy Land. His last name is Land, and he's the land commissioner.
He had to be.
Yeah,
It's his
you figure.
birthright.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's got to be. Yeah. So yeah, we elect a land. I have no idea what the land commissioner does. And there was times, several times where the Libertarian Party of Arkansas, fielded a candidate for land commissioner named Elvis Presley, an Elvis impersonator running for land commissioner of Arkansas.
Lovely. Because the current land commissioner in Arkansas, Mr. Lamb's sister, Ima, she really felt like the role should have been hers. I'm a land commissioner. Hey,
Yeah.
Yabbit's,
yeah.
Let me make this point. Yabbit says 5 million registered voters in Virginia out of 8.8 million person population. 3 million people came out to vote, which is great. That's a solid turnout. Out of 8.8 million people.
Yeah.
Not a third.
Yeah.
Just about a third came out to vote. The we the people of America is more than just we the voters in a particular election. So there's where our hope is, friends. Pulling some people in, some people sitting out, seeing our country as more than just our political system. Now, we have to have our political system be better. It's at the federal level, especially, it is as bad as I have ever seen it and know of in my life. I just don't know that across the board there is more damage being done to more people in more levels of cruelty than what this administration and this Congress is doing. Maybe. And if so, I don't want to live then either. Like if you want someone to argue, well, no, in the 1910s or 1920s or in the 1860s or the 1840s, okay, let's not go back there. This is just really bad at every possible level.
Yep. Yeah. And so as we see these Democratic victories, it immediately becomes, okay, what do these mean? do they mean anything? And I think there's a number of things that as we look at what these mean and the consequences of these elections are going to be. Um, One, for the first time in a long time, this feels like, in my view, a victory for the Democratic brand. And I say that because uh, Abigail Spanberger in Virginia and Zohar Mamdani in New York City are very different versions of what it means to be a Democrat. And they both won
Yes.
handily in their individual spaces. Um, and so I don't think this is a referendum on what kind of Democratic policies that, when you look at the Democratic Big Tent, I don't think this is a referendum on what the Democratic policies. I don't think it's a mandate for the Democratic Socialist wing of the party with AOC and Bernie and now Zohar Mamdani, as kind of the most prominent figures. I don't think it's a mandate for them, because then you can look at the other side and say, well, what about the moderate wing of the Democratic Party that would have an Abigail Spanberger in it. So I don't want to turn this. The internal civil war, which is too strong of a phrase, but the internal conflict about who the Democrats are going to be
Mm-hmm,
and what
mm-hmm,
their
mm-hmm,
identity
mm-hmm.
is, that did not get resolved
Mm-hmm.
in this election. This was not a
That's it.
referendum on Democrats. This was a referendum on Republicans. And I don't even think it was a referendum necessarily purely on Donald Trump. I think this was a referendum on Republicans, um, Republican leadership.
Yeah, I would
Um,
agree with that last statement, other than it's very hard for anyone in America to draw a
Differentiate.
distinction
Yes.
between
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Donald
Yes.
Trump and
Yeah.
they have
Right.
become one in a way that's
Yes.
unique in American
Yes.
politics, frankly. Like there's a number of things unique about the Trump periods of his presidencies, but that is something significant, that he is more aligned with the party, because almost no one in the Republican Party says, here's where I differ from
Except Marjorie Taylor Greene.
currently her.
Just why? Okay,
You
that's
think
something
you
to
think that,
watch.
oh yeah.
Something's happening here.
Let's
Now,
let's let's do
AOC,
let's do talk about that in a minute, because I
yeah,
think that
AOC,
that is
yeah,
going to be important 1 year from today, Marjorie Taylor Greene's thing. So if we have time, let's
yeah,
let's
okay,
get to it.
okay. So I think this is a referendum on Republican leadership, which includes Donald Trump. It's not exclusive to Donald Trump in the Republican Party. Um, Virginia is very close proximity to Washington,
Yes.
D.C. So many Virginia residents are federal employees who, because of the shutdown, have been
Yes.
furloughed.
Yes.
There are families in the state of Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia, literally suffering right now because of what Republicans have done in
Yep.
shutting down the government.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And I think in Virginia, you look at, okay, I think without the shutdown, Abigail Spanberger wins that race,
Yep.
running against a uniquely disconcerting candidate. I don't know if you watched any of their debate, but oh my goodness, Winsome. Her name's Winsome, which I love. When and then I started getting texts from her too,
Oh,
like
you
how did
Googled her.
Winsome get my number?
Did you
I'm
Google
like,
her?
no, Winsome, I'm not sending you any money. Um, Yeah. Wow. What? So
It's your
Abigail.
cigar shop purchases that then
Yeah.
corresponded to your Republican voter. If
That's
you're
right. Right.
wondering how buying habits predict voting patterns, they were like that
Yeah.
guy,
Yeah. He's a
middle-aged man
Republican.
in Arkansas, frequents cigar shop. Let's send him a donor.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So Abigail Spanberger would have won anyways. She won the way she
That's it.
did, as easily as she did, because of the government shutdown and its impact in Virginia. Now, you look more broadly than that, and I know we spent some time last week, Doug, poo-pooing the cost of eggs, and you know, I the reality is that economic uncertainty remains the number one issue for voters. And I mean, I talked with a lot of candidates, and it's so I like candidates need to make a distinction between their personal motivation for running and what's going to be persuasive to voters. Listen, if you're running because you want to save democracy, that's great. Saving democracy is not a moving issue with voters.
I
I
sadly
wish it
I
was. I wish
sadly
it
agree.
was.
I
I
sadly
wish it
agree.
was, but it's not. And like our friend Billy Ray says, we have a moral responsibility to win elections. And what voters have told us in 2024, they told us, and now here in 2025, they've told us again, the economy is the issue, economic uncertainty. It is about the cost of living. It's how much healthcare costs, how much housing costs, how much groceries cost, how much utilities cost. It is the cost of living and the economic uncertainty caused by things like the government shutdown, caused by Trump's tariffs that factor into all of that. Now, secondarily, crime was a motivating factor for voters, according to exit polls. Those are likely Republican voters. And then the third issue was immigration. And and that really could break either way, but my guess is that's probably breaking more towards Democratic candidates at this point. But the overwhelming number one issue for voters in this election yesterday was the economy.
Okay,
People are
but I
scared about their jobs. They're scared about like how they're going to pay for everything. That's what they're nervous about.
yeah, okay, let me try this on for size with you because I agree that those are the conditions that voters describe as what they're concerned with. I want to use a metaphor of someone standing on the side of the road. No, don't do this. I have to go about 70 miles from where I live to pick up what we refer to in the Vote Common Good world as Good Force One, which is our large bus-like vehicle from a repair shop.
Why does it need to be repaired, Doug?
Things break like democracy, so you fix them. So I have to go pick that up today.
I mean,
Today, or
sometimes somebody takes the wheel and runs that
sometimes
thing
people
right
just
into a pole.
crash it. So I have to go pick that up. Okay, so
That was me, by the way. That was me.
I am going to be hunting for someone who can give me a ride up there because it's too far to take an Uber. It's expensive. So I'm going to find a ride. So take that metaphor. Someone wants a ride because of set of conditions. The economy is a set of conditions. Immigration, healthcare costs, all sets of conditions. Somebody comes to me and says, oh, you have a set of conditions in place. You're at your home in Edina, Minnesota. You need to get up to Big Lake to pick that up, and you can't drive your own vehicle. There's your set of conditions. And then someone says, hire a limousine. I'm like, a limousine would cost me $400. I'm not going to hire a limousine. Hire an Uber. An Uber is going to cost me $200. I don't want to hire an Uber. Somebody pulls up on a two-person scooter and says, hop on my two-person scooter. I'll give you a ride. I'm not riding on your two-person scooter. Someone else says, hey, you got two things at the bottom of your ankles. Walk there. Okay, it's a little far and a little difficult to walk there. Hey, you could take your bike there. Why don't you bike up and then you throw your bike in the back of it? Yeah, but it's a little bit cold. I don't want to. So Here's the set of conditions. Now, you could say, how badly do you want to go pick that up? Because all of those are options.
Yeah.
I don't believe that those options are the best option to solve the problem presented by my set of conditions. When you ask voters, what's the set of conditions that you walked into the voting booth with top of mind? They tell you things. Why did you vote for the party you voted for? Because I believed they were the best option in light of those conditions. The
Mm,
problem Democrats have had is that people need to go 70 miles from where they are, and we pulled up in a scooter.
yeah.
And they
I
said, that's not me. I don't want to ride there. I don't
Yeah.
want to ride. I don't want to ride there on that. So this is the disconnect that happens to so many people. So when someone says, because I can see people are going to say it in the chat already, then why, Rob, if they wanted the economy to be better, did they vote for Donald Trump, who we know is not going to make the economy better? Because they believe that was a better option than riding with Kamala Harris to a better economy. So it's that second piece that I think why Vote Common Good is important and all the other voting groups. You have to connect how this political party being in power accomplishes the set of conditions that are front of your mind. And we
Yeah.
can actually help voters think about things that way. So,
Yeah.
okay, I feel like you have something to say about that. Say something about
Yeah.
that. Pick it apart, or
Yeah.
people in the chat or whatever, go
No, no,
after it.
I think that's interesting. I think another factor that comes into play is um your analogy stands, Doug, but the reality is that it's like for most voters, it's not they don't have like 10 options being presented to them.
Right.
There's a red car and a blue car that pulls up. And the last time that they went, they had to go make this 70-mile trip to pick up the Good Force One because somebody crashed it, because it's not the first time it's happened. Hey Tim. Um, Last time they took the red car and it broke down part of the way, and it turned out to be a huge cluster. And so this I'm like, someone take the blue car. And there's a certain amount of like what you did the last time. There's a certain amount of kind of course correcting that happens in elections when you've got like this polarity. There's a certain amount of blaming the party in power,
Yeah, it
not
is.
wanting to reward the party in power. That I It's not that you're looking at going like, huh, this blue car is nice. It's got all the features I want. Like, I would love to sit in this for the next 70 miles. It's much more like, oh, I took the red car last time. I'm not doing that again.
Yeah. Or I got in the blue car and the driver really didn't like me. And it was very
Yes.
emotionally uncomfortable because
Yes.
here's the problem is that
Yes.
the situation that people have in their minds about what's top of their mind, and we all organize them different. And look, when you ask somebody what's the most important thing to you, you're just asking people to make a fictional short story about their own life. It is a ridiculous question. It's not meaningful. Pollsters are damaging American psyche by asking it. Hot take. Because people don't, that's not how anybody operates in the world. People aren't like, here's my number one thing. I care about the economy more than I care about democracy. Well, by what amount? Like, like
Yeah.
they're just all things we care about. Okay, so it's like, okay, there's a bunch of things we care about. Of the things people care about, crime, let's say, economics, freedom, democracy, say those four. The answer to crime might be more government power. The answer to the economy might be more government flexibility. The answer to freedom might be more government staying out. The answer to democracy might be more government collaboration. The issue with solving everything through the ballot is that not all the things we care about are solved by the same political philosophies. And this is what leaves people so profoundly disappointed. So this is why when people said, oh, hey, I voted for Trump because he said he was going to fix the border, and now he's rounding up people at Home Depot and telling ICE agents to put their knee on the back of the neck of small women that they've pulled out of a car and have ragdolled to the ground. Whoa. And he's like, no, you said do whatever you want to do to get them out of our country. And they're like, that is not what I thought we were saying yes to. Because the thing he is solving, you attack it like that. This is the conundrum we have. And this is part of the reason why I think after every presidential election, in the midterm elections, the party that won the presidential race 2 years ago is less attractive to people. Partly because folks are like, well, that didn't really work, or I didn't want you doing that. And also because the party that's out of electoral victory experience gets real riled up.
Yeah.
And look, Republicans have sat on their hands for the last year while they're soothing themselves and feeling really good about having saved America. And Democrats, as Edward puts in the chat, got busy and got out on the streets and started sending emails and sending texts and getting all fired up. And that's going to go on for another 2 years.
Yes.
And that's a natural ebb and flow swing. And we shouldn't, your point is so spot on. What we can't do, and please, to the gods of the democratic political system, do not think that the election of a mayor in New York says anything about the platform policy of the Democratic Party in America. Please don't. Any more than electing a Democratic governor in a regularly red state is not prescriptive for the nation. We have to have different versions of different political philosophies from the same party in different positions in different locations. It has to be true.
Yeah. So Donald Trump was commenting today. He had breakfast with Republican leaders in DC, and he was commenting about his take on the election. And he thought that there were two reasons why Republicans lost so badly. One, he blamed the government shutdown.
Yep.
And said that it seemed like Republicans were, getting blamed for that, because they are. That's really interesting, because that, like, what we might see now is an impetus to get this thing ended and behind us, and let's pretend like this never happened. The second reason, that could be a very good upshot to this.
The government shutdowns end is near.
Yeah. The second reason Donald Trump said that Republicans did so badly, he said because he wasn't on the ballot. And I think there's some truth to that. Frankly, the Republican candidates for governor in New Jersey and Virginia were, not strong Trump supporters. But Doug, is Donald Trump laying the foundation for being the Republican nominee for president in 2028?
No, Donald Trump is trying to say it wasn't my fault.
Okay, but
Donald Trump is trying to say I don't even know the guy.
Yeah,
that's all he's doing. Look, no, Donald Trump is not laying the this just can consist. I'm not blaming you, but this thing that exists so much. Donald Trump is going to become a permanent president, and we're going to
putting it out there.
Not.
I am putting it out.
I
there
know
right
you
here
are
now. Donald Trump looking at this election saying, I wasn't on the ballot, and Republicans lost. 2026 midterms, Democrats are going to win big. Donald Trump's going to say, I wasn't on the ballot, and Republicans lost.
Yeah.
The argument is going to be the only way for Republicans to win is for Donald Trump to be on the ballot. And come 2028, will Donald Trump be on the ballot for the Republicans?
Donald Trump was not on the ballot in 2022.
Right. I know that.
Republicans won. It's just not true. No, it's not. Look, Donald Trump's concern is Donald Trump's reputation, how he doesn't get. He is working the short cycle. He wants for people for the next 10 hours to not blame him. That's it. That's all. He's just like,
this news cycle.
Yeah, he's not even talking about like the next year. He's like today. Like whatever's going to be on CNN, whatever's going to be on CBS, his new little sweetheart darling of a network that he has bent to his will and has turned into his thing. So look, Donald Trump is not. Here's what's going to happen. A year from now, after this happens on grand scale across the country.
Coming for you, Steve Womack.
And Robb Ryerse is the congressperson-elect from the 3rd District in Arkansas, and 30 other Democrats have flipped red seats. When that happens, all of the attention in America is going to shift to who are the candidates on the Democratic and Republican sides. And that system,
President of the United States.
Thank you, for President of the United States. And that system is going to shift up to a next level of crank, and there's no stopping it. And who is not going to be in that list? Donald J. Trump, the current sitting president of the United States. And when that happens, it's going to make why Marjorie Taylor Greene was on The View this week and all her other shifts against Trump, because she's already calculated in her world Donald Trump's value to the future of MAGA or the populist movement in the Republican Party diminishes by the day. As his ankles swell more every day, his power diminishes every day. She knows it, and so do and she just doesn't care. And she wants to position her. The person who's talking about their 2028 run for president is Marjorie Taylor Greene and Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance and the crowd. And they're the ones who are going to feel important. And when the lame duck president faces the lame duckness, I am deeply worried about what the executive of the executive branch will do. And running for president is not it. It's going to be a constant grab for power, like threatening or moving military forces into Nigeria or Venezuela.
So Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez had a different explanation for why Marjorie Taylor Greene is breaking from Donald Trump.
She would know. I mean, they're co-workers.
She said in a video yesterday that the reason why Marjorie Taylor Greene is breaking with Donald Trump is this is a revenge tour.
Yeah.
She's scorned because Donald Trump did not support her bid to be the next senator from the state of Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And so Donald Trump went a different direction. I don't know who he's endorsed, second coming of Herschel Walker or something. I don't know in Georgia. And so AOC says that Marjorie Taylor Greene is, that this is personal because she feels jilted.
Okay.
Doug, you feeling good? You feeling good today?
Yeah. Look,
are you feeling good?
It's two things for me. One, I have sat Shiva in sadness and grief over
Mhm.
what America chose to do on Election Day 2024. That is now a complete year of mourning. It doesn't mean I will forget, but it means I've
Mhm.
moved through the mourning stage. And if anybody wants to join in articulating it that way, here we go. Now we're 1 year out. Now Vote Common Good gets gets busy. Had a meeting in D.C. this week with the DCCC, met with one of the candidates, one of the soon-to-be Common Good candidates, Lindsey Beal James, who's running in Iowa. A bunch of other people were hanging around. The engines are fired up and the wheels are starting to move. And people are registering, as Robb Ryerse did yesterday, officially to be a candidate in 2026. So all of you who've been like, what can I do today? Get yourself ready for a year from today.
Yeah.
Think of it like planning for a wedding. You can do lots of prep, but the one day is coming, and it's November 6th. Am I right on that date? 6?
Yes.
2026. Get one more 6 in there, and Devil's Day. That's our work. This is our time. This is that's what we're doing. We've got a year to get 30, 40 people elected at the federal level and across states and get ourselves ready for 2028 so that there can be a strong movement to reverse all of the damage that Donald Trump has done to this country.
Yeah. When people ask me, what can we do to stop Donald Trump? There's really, in my mind, there's one answer. We have to flip Congress. That's what we have to do. And so 1 year from now, and Cindy, no, this is not.
Tell the
Robin
listeners. Tell the
from
listeners
Clackamas,
what you're
Oregon.
responding to.
Cindy makes a comment. Is this Robin Ryerse from Clackamas, Oregon? First of all, no, it's Rob, not Robin. I spell Ryerse with one E, not two. I know there's some variation in the family. In Clackamas, Oregon, is that Clackamas where Clackamas United Methodist Church is?
Clackamas United Methodist Church, for sure. It's got
That
to be.
we steamrolled in the Progressive Christian podcast. We were behind them. We set them we set them as our target, and we destroyed them.
We blue waved them.
We did.
Look, but what Cindy
and
might be referring
to, have no
to,
idea what we're talking about. But we have inside jokes on this podcast.
Stick around. Cindy might think that I was referencing someone named Robin Ryerse when I said when Robb Ryerse registered to vote. May have thought, oh, there's a Robin Ryerse in Clackamas, Oregon. I wonder if Robin Ryerse, my friend, is running for office, and I didn't know. Perhaps, and look, Robin Ryerse, please run for office.
And hit me up in the Ryerson family group on Facebook.
Robb Ryerse, co-host of the Common Good podcast, is also running for Congress. This one you're looking at right here for Congress in Arkansas's 3rd congressional district.
So
thank you.
So when people ask the question, what can we do? The answer is we have to flip Congress. Because the only thing right now that can stop Donald Trump is a Congress that wrests back from him its rightful authority and provides some checks and balances. We can't do anything about the Supreme Court currently. The Senate is a heavy lift. We have got to flip Congress.
Yep.
And that means, so for me, that means on Monday, my wife and I drove down to Little Rock, and I stood in line. I filled out the forms and I wrote a check and I hung out in the state capitol and I filed to be on the ballot as a candidate for Congress in Arkansas's 3rd congressional district. And so for the next year, I will be campaigning hard to flip a seat that if we flip this seat, let me tell you,
something's up.
Things have gone well. Things have gone well.
And to be clear, you did all that yesterday because yesterday was Monday. Monday was sign up day for doing
It was
that for
yeah, it was the
next year.
first day of filing, yeah,
Yeah.
and there's a week of filing that happens, so,
It's like
um,
camp sign up day. You know,
yeah,
you gotta get
yeah.
in. Rob was
Oh,
first
there's,
in
like
line, standing right at the door, ready to get in.
yeah, there's the first day and the last day, there's a lot of pomp and circumstance with that, like,
Mhm. Mhm.
you know,
Yeah,
either
you put on a fancy jacket.
I did,
You
my
dressed
new suit.
yourself nice.
Yeah, wore my new suit, and listen, Doug, paisley ties are back in
I've
style.
seen it.
It's glorious. I love it.
You're like, I
I
knew it
feel
was
like
coming around. I got that one in here somewhere.
yeah, yeah, glorious. Like all the ties I wore in college, and yeah, I had to wear ties in college. Um, you know,
Okay, Alice
you know,
P. Keaton.
they're all
Uh,
back.
don't
Well, no, I had to.
doesn't the paisley just look like little sperms though? I mean, from what I've seen of descriptions of sperms under a microscope, I've always found them to be, yeah,
Sperm like?
yeah. I don't know. It's just,
Yeah.
I know we call them
Uh,
paisley, but boy,
Spermly? Is that
I
spermly?
don't know. I don't
Um,
know.
yeah, that's funny. Yeah, so what can you do if you're not running for Congress?
Well, you can do what Jim is going to do, which is going to be to
Oh my
pack the
goodness,
ballot
help
in
somebody
Arkansas.
that is. Yeah, help somebody. Like, listen, the game has already started.
Yeah, game is underway.
Like, election day is just the final seconds of the clock ticking down. The game has already started, and we can move the ball and score points now that will make a difference later. So you donate to candidates, volunteer, help them, support them, encourage them, tell your friends about them, amplify them on social media. All of these things matter now. Like you do it. And,
Yeah,
visit robforcongress.com, ROBB for
yeah.
Congress.com.
And look,
Smash that donate button.
and Rob is a candidate that we hope you will indeed, as he says, support. And through Vote Common Good, there's going to be a number of ways for you to get engaged with candidates around the country.
Yeah.
But, there are roughly 50, generously saying 50 or 60 seats.
Yeah.
At
That's generous.
So somewhere 10 or 11%, which means that roughly 90% of seats for Congress in the United States of America are already settled on who's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 90% of the people in America, even more, because some of those seats are representing a whole lot of people because we no longer do proportional representation. So the great majority of people in America, 90-ish plus %, don't have a contested congressional race, which means that's probably you, or if not you, people who you know. So we want to create a way for people like you and people that you know to get involved in a campaign. So the campaigns we're going to be working on, we invite you to become part of a campaign action team for the common good. That's going to mean you'll get to send postcards and send text messages and make phone calls, raise money for them, show up in the district, join us when we're doing events in those districts. And maybe you want to pick one nearby you. Maybe you want to pick one in a place that matters to you. We're going to create a way for you to do that. So if you're not already at votecommongood.com, if you're not already on the email list, starting today and rolling out, it's going to be a chance for you to say, count me in on that. I want to be someone on one of these action teams. And over the course of the next year, opportunities will continue to present themselves. You get to be in a little team. You get to know each other. You'll have online Zoom meetings. You'll build some community. The whole thing's going to sort of roll out. So you've been waiting for, like, what can I do now? We would say join a campaign action team. And for some of you, you're more interested in state and local races, so we'll have some of those. For some of you, it's going to be the national races, for people serving at the national level. So there are things for you to do. And look, and there are other groups that do this too, but I just don't know why you would be with any of those groups. Our group is the best group, and the one that's more blessed by the divine, frankly. I mean, it's just more more blessed to be in a Vote Common Good group than, I don't know, like some Common Cause group or some other, group doing great work. I mean, they're all great and they're all important. Some are just more blessed than others. We're more blessed.
Blesseder.
Blesseder. All right. Are we done?
We're done.
Hey, but congratulations to the Vote Common Good candidates who won.
Yes.
And
yeah, we had, in addition to Amanda Edwards, who made the runoff in the congressional race in Texas, in that special election, there were a number of local candidates who were, and I don't know, do you have this list, Doug?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to hit us?
Yes,
Hit us
I have
with this list.
I have a list sort of in front of us. Candidates who won: Sarah Wilhelm Gerbers. Is running for. Thank you. Garbers was running for the Hopkins School District. I'm a graduate from the Hopkins School District and a friend of Sarah's. She won.
Thanks. Yeah. Nice.
Jacqueline Slaby in Kalamazoo, Michigan, for city commissioner, won.
Yeah.
Jermaine Kennedy in Columbus, Ohio, school board.
Yes.
Won. Because you know what? Winners win, my friend.
Yep.
Jeanette Strickland in city auditor in Ohio, in Reynoldsburg, Ohio, won. And then, as we mentioned earlier, person in running in Houston's race is in a runoff, so kind of won. Like Amanda didn't not win, but didn't win. Sort of,
and
moved on.
Former candidate for Common Good, Keith Davenport, one of our faves.
Yes.
Running for school board, barely campaigned because in the midst of his campaign, their house sold. They were going to buy another house in the ward that he was running in. That fell through. The only house they could find that worked for their family was outside of the ward he was in. So he wasn't sure, but it was too late to have his name off the ballot. So he was on the ballot, but he wasn't campaigning because he didn't live in the ward anymore. Decided last minute he was going to actually get involved. Went to the debate and debated his opponent. There's some question of what if he were to win, whether or not he would be able to serve. Keith Davenport winning currently by 4 votes.
Boy, way to couch the drama of this one. Look, your last name is Davenport. You're picking up half a dozen votes just from the name. Just people who don't know, they look down, they're like, Davenport. Oh, what a great phrase.
Yeah.
What a great word. What a great name.
And a great human being. We love Keith Davenport.
Yes. Well, look, let's make Keith Davenport an honorary forever Common Good candidate. So let's
love it.
Count him in. Hey, and because there were more probably school board races going on around the country.
Yes.
Than there were statewide or state, assembly or Commonwealth related races.
House of Delegates. The Commonwealth getting all fancy. They're electing their House of Delegates.
Yeah, old time.
Yes, and Yabbitt's mentioned. Yabbitt's, I think you might have missed it before. J.D. Vance's brother got creamed in Cincinnati.
But it's Cincinnati, blue Cincinnati. Cincinnati. What about the rest of Ohio? Cincinnati blue. These people. Well, I mean, if he didn't think he could win, why did he run?
Oh.
He could say, I didn't think I was ever going to win.
Yeah.
And proved himself right. Like maybe he's so committed to being right. He's like, I knew I wasn't going to win. That's why I ran.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes people run knowing they're not going to win. For sure. They're like, I'm doing other things with my candidacy. Lots of good reasons to run for office.
Yeah.
Lots of good. Winning is a very good reason, but there's a lot of other reasons to run, like some other races. There's some good things about running a
We
race
need to
beyond
yeah,
winning.
we need to make sure that JD Vance never meets Keith Davenport. That might just be too much for him.
I don't get that joke. Why is that?
All right, I'm just gonna leave it there then. Listen, have you,
Oh,
Doug? If we were
okay.
on the Vote Common Good bus,
A QAnon joke.
we would have lots and lots of conversation, I am sure,
Ouch.
about is there or is there not some nefarious relationship happening between JD Vance and Erica Kirk?
We would not be debating that. We would just be sharing that reality. When she grabbed the back of his head in her hands,
Have you
just
ever had a woman
instinctively
hug you like that? Have you ever
look,
had a woman hug you like that?
values. Okay,
Have you ever
get
had
this
a
straight.
woman in leather pants hug you like that?
Not in leather pants. Not in pants.
Wow.
I am. I mean, not at all. But I don't know what you bring. I'm going to do this with all sincerity. Look, values start at the top. And if we want this country to be a country of moral values, we can't have the White House be a place.
Yeah.
When Donald Trump is your moral compass, as we know the president is, because our Republican fellow citizens have told us the importance of morality in the White House. Of course, the affair between the director of Homeland Security and her longtime lover, Corey Lewandowski, is going to be something
Who is also her chief of
blessed.
staff at Homeland Security.
Of course, the vice president being bothered that his own wife won't convert to his religion and meets a heartbroken widow who holds his religious convictions. Oh, that's fine, because Donald Trump says this is the moral compass for this party. Remember, do you remember Lindsey Graham lecturing America about Bill Clinton not setting the right moral standard for the nation? I do.
Yeah. And maybe for those who would say, listen, that it's just a picture. You can't even suggest something's going on there.
Yeah.
And I would just say to my Republican and Christian friends, remember that Bible verse about avoiding all appearance of evil? Which parenthetically is not at all what that means. The word appearance, bad translation in the King James, actually means the substance of evil. It's not that something looks evil, but is actually not evil. It's that you're supposed to avoid the evil stuff, the things that are actually evil.
Not the things that just look like it. Not Halloween and movie theaters.
Yes, but the reason I was not allowed to go to movie theaters is because, I had to avoid all appearance of evil. That even if I was going to see a G-rated, Little Mermaid, and somebody might think I was going to see,
God is not dead too.
Yeah. So anyway, we would have lots of things to say about the vice president.
And I'll tell you, I keep up very little on the political rumor mills because I don't do Twitter.
Though I will say,
but every once in a while that stuff creeps out into the YouTube world where I find myself. So that's how I know about the hands in the hair and the embrace and the nod.
I will say this.
Sheer utter.
I will say this about JD Vance.
Please.
Halloween, well done. You know what JD Vance went as for Halloween? You know what he dressed up as?
Adults don't dress up for Halloween, but please go on.
True. JD Vance dressed up as the fat JD Vance meme for Halloween.
Oh, so
and
he
it
didn't
was
dress up.
fantastic. Well done, JD.
Hey, okay,
Thank
if
you.
we're going
Yeah,
to talk
no,
about
no,
adults' costumes, did you dress up in one, Rob?
no.
Okay, me either. Let's talk about Lauren Boebert.
Oh, did she? Did she? Did she dress up for Halloween?
In a mariachi
Wow,
band,
I don't even.
like
Oh my heart.
Mexican outfit, and a person in her picture group was an ICE agent.
Oh, these people.
She went as a Mexican with an ICE agent.
And Doug, I am about to send you my favorite congressional Halloween costume of all time.
Adults. I mean, look, you might want to go to a costume ball, but Halloween's for the kids.
Oh
Can we
my
just
goodness. Hey,
quit?
and we haven't even talked about the Great Gatsby dinner. This is the
Oh,
greatest. This is the great. I don't. Do you want to put this picture up?
uh,
This is the
I'm having to.
greatest
Hang on, I have to find it.
congressional Halloween costume of all time.
Okay. Did your
It
dryer
is
just start?
no. The garage door is going up. My
Oh, I
wife
see.
must have just gotten home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is.
This is the greatest congressional Halloween costume of all time. This is from the halls of Congress, walking into her office, former Congresswoman Katie Porter, dressed as Batwoman. So fantastic. Love her. Love her. Love you, Katie.
Okay.
Oh goodness. Yeah, we haven't even talked about the Great Gatsby party that Trump. I mean, the tone deafness of these people.
No,
Um,
I wish it was
is
tone deafness. I wish it was. You know what it is? It is a belief that America wants to be like them. They think they are virtue signaling with gold toilets, gold leafing, and exorbitant parties and wearing Rolexes.
they're leaning
Th-
into the aspirational thing.
They're like middle America elected a pseudo billionaire. Of course, that's what America wants. They want Elon Musk. They want the wealth of Bezos. They want wealth. Let's show them what they can have if they stick with us. Who, by the way, Donald Trump made all of his money when the majority of presidents were not Republicans. How did that happen?
Hmm.
How did that happen? Donnie? Brooke? If you need the Republican to be president for you to get rich, then how did... Oh, you inherited it. Sorry, my problem. Whoopsie daisy. All right, are we done?
We're done.
Okay, bye, everybody.